In this video, I want to share with you what I believe to be one of the most powerful writing apps out there. It can do magical things for writers. So if you are a writer, guess what? You better stay tuned to the whole video. This app can help you reduce procrastination. It can help you eliminate writer's block. It can help you generate new ideas, and it can help you write faster. This app is a dream. It's an absolute dream. It is free. It is available online. Anyone can get access to it. And in this video, I'm going to show you 4 ways in which I use this app for all the things that I mentioned before. So if you are interested, if you are a writer, if you are a content creator, then stay tuned because this video is for you. So by now, I hope you're asking yourself, what is this magical app Mark is talking about for writers that's going to do all of these things? And look, if you are an experienced writer, you may have come across this app before, but I promise you that the way I'm going to show you to use this app today will hopefully change your workflow for the better. So the app is a free web app called the Most Dangerous Writing App. It's got a dangerous name and it does something really cool. I'm going to link the app down below in the description so that in case you can't find it online, I'll give you a direct link. So the idea is very simple, but very unique. The whole point is that once you open up the app, you choose a duration of either a time. So you can either choose something like 5 minutes, or you can choose a word count. So you can choose something for, like, let's say you want to write for 500 words, 1,000 words, 300 words, whatever. So you choose this duration and then you open up the app, you start it up. From the moment that you type in your first word, the app is now in dangerous mode. And dangerous mode sort of works like this. The idea is that if at any point you stop typing for maybe less than, or for anything longer than maybe a second or 2 seconds, the screen starts getting red. And if you do not write anything new, anything fresh on the page within the next second, the app will erase all of the progress. Everything you have written up until that point will get erased, which you can imagine. If you have been writing for 2-3 minutes already, that is a big motivation not to stop writing. So the idea is very simple. It's true. The app is simple. It's great. It's super convenient. But I specifically want to talk about the ways that I'm using it to help my workflow. And because I believe that for writing is difficult. It's true. It's hard. But I think that one of the most difficult things in writing is actually to sit down and write. It's getting started. Getting started for writing, for me personally, is one of the hardest things. I don't know if you guys are the same. Comment down below if you feel the same way. Because, I can go around the whole day and I can procrastinate. I can do anything but write. If there's a chore on my task list from like 2 or 3 weeks ago, you better bet that I'm going to be doing that chore the same day that I'm supposed to be writing. I don't know why, but it's so difficult for myself to get down and write. And I think a part of it is because writing seems like this very big, intimidating task. We think we've got to write all of this amazing content and we know it's going to be difficult. It's going to take us a long time. It's going to take a lot of effort. And anything that we view as large, as a big task, as intimidating, we procrastinate on it. And so I'm going to show you 4 ways that you can use this particular app, the most dangerous writing app, as a way to beat procrastination, as a way to eliminate writing block, and as a way to generate new ideas and also to write faster. So if you're ready, let's jump in and get to it. So the first way that I use the Most Dangerous Writing app is I use it for kickstarting my brainstorming and my idea generation. It's like idea generation on steroids. So if you don't know what you want to write about, if you don't know what you want to create content about, I actually made a whole video describing the process of how I come up with ideas for content, and I'll link it for you right here. In that video, I also shared 4 prompts that I use to come up with content ideas that I think might be helpful for you as well. I know they have been for me. Again, highly recommend you check out that video. But in that video, I explained that one of the processes that I use is I set a timer for 5 minutes and I basically try and brainstorm as many ideas as I can using the prompt that I have chosen. Well, the problem with that is that sometimes I have weak discipline. I don't have the willpower to sit through all 5 minutes, or I get distracted. And so what happens is I write for the first 2 minutes of the timer, and then guess what? I stop, I get distracted, I check my phone, and I stop brainstorming ideas. But the beauty of the most dangerous writing app is that you are not going to be able to stop generating ideas because you're not going to be able to stop writing. As soon as you stop writing, it will erase all of the ideas you've generated so far, which is amazing because it solves the main problem I was having with just using a timer. So let me explain to you sort of my workflow around how I use this app to generate ideas. It's very simple. I start a new session, I open a new session, and I start it usually for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how creative I feel. So let's say I started it for 5 minutes. From there, I will usually at the top of the page, I will write out my prompt. As I said, you can get the prompts in this video right here. So let's say one of the prompts that I use is, what do I know that I can share with others that will help them and improve their lives? So I will type that out at the top of the page, and then under that, I will start generating ideas one after another. And I know that I can't really stop for too long. Otherwise, everything that I've generated so far will get erased. So at a certain point, you might run out of ideas. That's perfectly fine. You might not know, what else can I write? Okay, no problem. So what you do in that case, for me personally, I actually just start rewriting my prompt again. So I might again write, what do I know that can help others? What do I know that can help others? And I'll just keep on typing it up until my brain kicks into gear and understands what I'm trying to do here and will start serving me up some good content ideas. Now, sometimes that might still not work. So what do you do in that case? Well, you can use one of the other prompts, or you can use some other idea generating questions that you might have yourself, and then you start typing them. And then hopefully each time that you do this, you will be able to generate more and more ideas. And I think that the key to this technique is that you are forced to continue writing. You're forced to continue generating ideas for that whole period of time, because if you stop, you lose all the process that you've made. So I think this app is sort of like a supercharged way to generate ideas and to brainstorm content ideas. And it's even better than what I usually do, which is just a timer. So if I feel like I'm really stuck in a creative rut, I will put on this app and I will use it to generate ideas. And I find that that actually helps me a lot, and hopefully it'll help you as well. Okay, that was part 1. Let's go on to step 2, or the second way that I use this app. Okay, so the second way that I use the most dangerous writing app is I use it to help me beat procrastination. Like I said before, writing is this huge task. It feels so intimidating to me sometimes. It feels like I'm gonna have to sit down for 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm gonna have to write all of this. I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to put so much effort in. And when a task is that intimidating, when it feels like it's that big of a task, you are much more likely to avoid doing it. You're more likely to not want to do it. You're more likely to push it back. And so I find that the trick is, number 1, to break the task down into smaller, more manageable components so that you can actually process through and it doesn't seem so intimidating to you. So the best way to do it is to say to yourself, okay, look, you don't have to sit down and write for the whole 2 hours. All you need to do is you need to sit down and write for 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes. That's all you need. And the idea is that you actually do this. So if you sit down and you write for 5 minutes, you want to make sure you're not lying to yourself. If after 5 minutes, you don't want to write anymore, you're free to get up and go about your day and come back at another time. But if you feel like you are in the flow and you feel like you want to continue writing, in that case, by all means, keep on writing, keep on trucking. And so this app, the most dangerous writing app, is perfect, I find, for using it in this way. And the idea is like this. This is what I do. I sit down in front of my computer. Let's say I'm procrastinating and I'm really not feeling like I don't want to write. I sit down in front of my computer and I launch a new session of this most dangerous writing app. And I open a new session, and in that new session, I set 5 minutes on the clock. And I know I'm just going to sit for 5 minutes. I'm going to try and write. Now, the whole trick is that once you start writing, you actually have to write for 5 minutes, because otherwise it will erase all of your content. And we are funny beings. We might not want to do it, but if there is a sense of loss, then we are more likely to stay with it. So when you sit down to write, you start writing and you kind of have to go for the whole 5 minutes. But what ends up happening is it's this thing, I believe it's called the Zeigarnik effect. And the idea is that our brain hates open loops. It hates, cliffhangers. It needs to complete things. It needs to know and bring things to a conclusion. So if we start something, even if it's something that we might not have liked initially, we want to see it to completion. It's a great trick that you can use to do anything that you have been procrastinating on. All you need to do is sit down for 5 minutes and then you can get started on it. So the thing is with the writing, once you get started, once you go for 5 minutes, you'll find yourself kind of getting into the flow, because for the whole 5 minutes, you're actually writing because you're forced to. And you will notice that after 5 minutes, you are very, very likely to just continue writing. You'll find that you kind of get into the flow, you'll get into the zone, and it won't be so much of a challenge. You'll already be writing, so you might as well just keep on going. I find that this is a great hack when when I need to kind of jumpstart my brain into writing mode, into creativity mode. When I'm not feeling like writing, I say, look, I'm just going to sit down 5 minutes in front of this app. I start typing away, and I'm telling you, 5 minutes later, I have written however many words and I am just ready to keep going. My brain is now in writing mode and I'm able to access that part of my brain. So if you are struggling with procrastination, I think this could be a solution for you. So I highly recommend you check it out and you try doing this trick as well. Okay. If you, by the way, have any other tricks to beat procrastination in writing or just in anything else that you do in life, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay. Moving on. The third way that I use the most dangerous writing app is I use it to eliminate writer's block. Look, sitting down in front of a blank page is the worst thing ever, especially, a lot of people recommend you write in the morning. And I try and do this a lot, but I find that when I sit down to write, the first 5, 10, 30 minutes, it's as if my brain is not working. It's not in writing mode. And I think that's very normal. They say that when you switch from task to task, there is always time for your brain to have to switch mental gears to tune into the new task. So of course, if you're going about your day and then you sit down and you try to write, your brain is just not geared towards writing yet. It's not in the writing gear. So what we need to do is we need to kickstart your brain into writing gear. And I actually really like this idea about writing. When I first sit down, my brain is foggy, but after I get a few words and sentences on the page, I start finding some clarity. In the beginning, I find everything is wrong. I can't find the right words. I can't find the right sentences. I don't know what my idea is. I don't know what I want to be saying. But slowly, as I continue writing, and this is the key, as you continue writing, that's when your brain starts kicking in and understanding, okay, we're doing this now. We're writing. Well, let me help you out then. And once you kind of build this momentum, then you become unstoppable. And at that point, I've got words flowing out of my fingers. These are like magic fingers. But getting to that stage is what's hard. Now, one of my favorite analogies for this is the old faucet. So when you turn on an old faucet and you think about the old pipes and rusty pipes that connect to it, initially when you turn it on, the water that comes out will be murky, it will be dirty, it will be a little bit, it will not be clear, it will be murky, it will be foggy. And as you let the water flow, as you let the water run, the water becomes clearer and clearer and clearer up until you have let all the murky water out and now you are left with clear water. And I think about writing in the same way. I mean, if you really think about it, when you just sit down to write, you've got to almost clear out all of the fog, all of the murky water, all of the murky words and sentences. You've got to just vomit them onto the page so that you are left with clear writing, with clear thinking. And so I find that the best way to do that is, again, with this app, with the most dangerous writing app, it's super simple. All you do is you open the app, you go in, and you start a session for 5 to 10 minutes, whatever you feel like. And then you start writing. It doesn't matter what you start writing about. You can start writing where you are, meaning like with whatever topic you're talking about, or you can start writing stream of consciousness. You can start writing about topic ideas. It doesn't matter what. All you need to do is you need to get your brain and your fingers into writing mode. So you basically need to get yourself started. You need to kickstart your momentum. And the beauty of this app, again, is that it kind of turns it into a game. And because you have started writing, you don't want to lose that writing. And you'll find that as you write in this app, look, the first sentences, the first words, the first paragraphs, they're not going to be good. And I think that's fine. That's normal. That's to be expected. But you'll find that as you keep writing, because again, this app will force you to keep writing. As you keep on writing, your brain is going to start clicking. It's going to just Yes, this is what we're doing. And like the faucet, the water is going to start turning clear. It's going to become clear. Your thoughts are going to crystallize, and you are basically going to start finding the words, finding the sentences, finding the ideas, and you are going to be in groove. You are going to be in momentum. And once you're in momentum, it's so much easier to keep on going. And so this is my third use case for this app. It is a great way. Whenever I start my writing session, the first thing I do is I put on 5 minutes on the clock on the Most Dangerous Writing app, and I basically just write. All right, whatever comes to mind. And then at a certain point, I will feel my brain click. And once it does that, I know I'm good to go for the rest of the session. So if you've ever struggled with a blank page, with writer's block, this is something that I highly recommend you try. Also, again, I'm going to plug my own video for a second time right now. If you have not watched it yet, I made a video that people seem to really enjoy right here. It's all about how to generate unlimited content ideas. If you think you're not creative, if you think you don't know what to write about, I highly recommend you check that video out because I think it might help you out. Okay, now we are going to be moving on. So let's go to the next point. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the fourth and final step of how I use the Most Dangerous Writing app. And this one is all about increasing your speed. It's about making your writing faster. When I write, one of my biggest problems is getting the first rough draft, the first ugly rough draft written. I just need to get those words on the page. I know, but I struggle and I overthink it and I stress and I analyze. And one of the things that I found very useful for myself was I heard that, we think often that writing is this one process, one stage. We sit down and we write. But when you really think about it, writing is made up of all of these different phases. It's made up of multiple stages. So we've got a research stage, we've got an idea generation stage, we've got the writing stage, and then we also have the editing stage. And so what happens is when we try and combine all of these stages into one stage, into one session, it puts too much pressure on our minds and it basically breaks our minds. It does not good for writing because each one of those stages requires a different way for you to use your mind. The writing stage is very open and creative. The editing stage is very judgmental and analytical. And when you combine these two things, that's why they say you should never write and edit at the same time. You should always write when you write and edit when you edit. Because when you try and combine the analytical mind of editing with the creative mind of writing, you're going to be left with a hot mess. Because the analytical mind is just going to shut down everything that the creative mind is coming up with. And so this happens to me often. I get stuck in this trap where I will write and then erase a sentence, write and erase a sentence. And one of the teachers who I follow for writing, his name is Sean McCabe. He actually has this idea that when you write your rough draft, your only goal should be to get your words down on the page. The editing will come later. And he says that the one thing you should not do is you should not use your backspace key. That's the one trick to becoming faster, because when you use your backspace key, you're just editing, you're second guessing yourself. So he actually came up with a whole website. He built a whole website that basically does not let you use the backspace key when you write. I'm going to link it down below. I don't remember what it's called, but it's really funny. Every time you try and press the backspace key, his voice comes up and he says something like, nope, nope, nope. So every time you're typing, nope. So that is something you can try as well. But going back to the Most Dangerous Writing app. So I really like actually also from Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld did this podcast with Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you know either one of them. Jerry Seinfeld is a comedian. Tim Ferriss is an author and very well respected. He's got a great podcast. So Jerry Seinfeld went on the Tim Ferriss podcast and he talked about creativity. I made a whole video actually about the 5 topics or 5 ideas about creativity that I took from Jerry Seinfeld. You can check it out here. I'll link it up in the card above. But what I really liked is Jerry Seinfeld talked about his writing process for writing comedy. And he says that the writing process has to be divided into these 2 stages. The first stage, you have to be kind to yourself. This is when you actually write. And during the first stage, you have to treat yourself kind of like a baby. You have to baby yourself. You have to nurture yourself. You have to support yourself, because that's the part where, any judgmental feeling and your creative brain will shut down. So you really have to baby yourself. But then comes the second part. And the second part is where you edit and you polish and you construct everything. And during this part, you have to be ruthless. You have to be brutal. You have to be absolutely just judgmental, analytical, and cut out anything that does not contribute to your piece. And he says that it's very important that you do not combine these two parts. They have to be separate. You have to make sure that when you write, you focus on creativity, but then when you edit, and you focus on being analytical and judgmental. And so I find that the Most Dangerous Writing app is so useful for this, because with the time limit and with the fact that it will erase all of the things that you have written up until this point, you cannot go back to edit. You don't have time to edit. You don't have time to struggle and analyze. So, whereas if I write in a regular document, I'm always thinking, I'm always trying to analyze, I'm always trying to perfect it on the first draft. That's not what I should be doing. And so when I use this app, and I think this was the original purpose of this app, it was to make sure that you do not edit while you write. So basically, I open the app up and I actually try and get my whole rough draft done in one go. So the idea is that I will set the timer for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the length of the content. And I'm going to write, not stop up until I have most of the draft finished. At that point, it's much easier. And so my battery is about to die. I'm going to move on to the conclusion soon, but this is the fourth way that I use it. I use it to write out my rough draft all at once. Okay, let's finish up. And we are back. The battery is now fully charged. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope I was able to provide some value for you in terms of showing you how I use the Most Dangerous Writing app. If you've heard about this app, please let me know down in the comments if you use it, and if you have any other tips or advice for writers or content creators. If you're interested, check out my video about content creation ideas, which you can check out here or in the description below, as well as my video about Jerry Seinfeld's interview with Tim Ferriss and the 5 tips and 5 ideas about creativity that I learned from it. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mark. On this channel, I create content to help you live a better life. I make content about productivity, about goals, as well as about content creation. And so if you're interested in any of these topics, feel free to follow along. Click that big old red subscribe button down below and ding that notification bell just for good luck as well. That way you'll be notified whenever I have a new video coming up. Other than that, I would love to connect with you on Instagram and on Twitter. So if you don't follow me there, join the family, join the tribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.